This is Business and Economy Network.
Hello viewers, do you know that aviation industry in a modern economy can be a catalyst for economic growth? In Nigeria today, what's happening in the aviation sector? And that's why we're spotlighting Nigerian aviation sector. Welcome to your program. You are watching Business and Economy Network. Those of you watching us in faraway Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilori, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, Ibadan. Those of you watching us via the online channels, and those of you watching us outside the shores of Nigeria, I want to say thank you so very much. Like I just said, we are looking at the aviation industry in Nigeria as a catalyst for economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, for the program rundown this week for business news, we want to say big congratulations to one of our dear colleagues, Mr. Jude Chukwu. A blissful wedding, blessing for him and his wife. Recently got married. I want to say big congratulations to you, Mr. Jude Chukwu, and his lovely wife. For Company in Focus, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN. These are people we call landlord of airports in Nigeria, and they are saddled with the responsibility of security and securing everywhere that has to do with our airports. The MD is here to give us insight about airport and FAN. For special report, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA. These are agencies of government saddled with the responsibility of navigational aids communication among aircraft and others. And for straight talk, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Skyway Aviation Handling Company. These are companies saddled with the responsibility of ground handling of aircraft in Nigeria. Like I just said, aviation is very key. The importance can never be overemphasized. We are spotlighting aviation industry in Nigeria. Stay tuned. I'll be back after this time out.
Diligence in service and hard work are his watchword. Being at the top of his career has still not changed his simplicity and his quiet appearance and conduct. Engineer Saleh Dunoma is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, popularly known as FAN. He would rather bank on his good track record instead of indulging in showmanship. Awarded many times already, including the National Productivity Award by the President himself, President Muhammadu Buhari, FAN was set up to provide solutions to the challenges of airport operations across Nigeria. FAN is trusted with the responsibilities of developing, providing and maintaining all airports, offering necessary services and making available facilities to always ensure for safe, orderly, speedy and economic operation of air transport in Nigeria.
Well, FAN is a federal government creation. It's a company that it's 100% federal government owned. We develop, manage and maintain all federal owned airports, and we provide special services also in airports in Nigeria that do not belong to federal government. Such airports could belong to the state governments, private airports, the ones that belong to companies like the oil companies and the rest of them. So the government has given us the mandate to develop their airports, to manage their airports, and also run them profitably. You know, we've been battling with Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, for example, in terms of infrastructure. Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is underdeveloped and the traffic had grown over the years. You would recall that in March 2017, we had to close the airport to do a rehabilitation of the runway. And we promised Nigerians that we are going to do that project within 6 weeks, a complete rehabilitation of the runway. We surmounted all the objections from various quarters, and government gave us the go-ahead to go ahead and rehabilitate the runway. We did this rehabilitation within time, within record time. In fact, we finished it 2 days before the end of the 6 weeks, and traffic started flowing into the Abuja airport. And Mr. President just commissioned a brand new terminal building, and that has improved our capacity to handle passengers at the airport. So the comfort, the facilitation, and the capacity of Abuja Airport has improved greatly in terms of passenger processing. Abuja Airport is one of the airports that is growing at a very fast rate. You know, of course, reasons are not far-fetched. As a result of Abuja being the federal capital territory, it's a new city, it's growing fundamentally, and this growth has translated into additional traffic in the airports. So the battle for us is to make sure that we cope up with this growth. So government has supported us in coping up with this growth, in providing the money to do the runway rehabilitation, and also funding the terminal building development. We are lucky this government gave us all the support, and we've done that. And now Abuja Airport is ready for the growth and additional traffic that we require. Now Lagos too is very tight and requires additional infrastructure in terms of passenger facilitation. So the terminal building in Lagos is about 90% completion. Very soon, before the end of the year, we'll commission the terminal building in Lagos, and we're also working on additional infrastructure like aprons and what have you that will make Lagos Airport much more efficient in terms of aircraft operations. So these are developmental projects that this government is sponsoring, and by the time all this infrastructural development around Lagos Airport is done, we'll now move traffic, half of the traffic in the existing terminal into the new terminal, and then close half of the existing terminal so that we can rehabilitate it so that it will look the same. Remember, our objective is that we must have safe, secure, and passenger-friendly terminals.
The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency was established by the Nigerian government, fully authorized to handle air navigation, charting, flight planning, consulting, training, and air traffic control matters. NAMA, as is popularly called, gives guidelines for airline operators. Captain Fola Akikoto, the Managing Director, Chief Executive of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, is with a 4 years experience and have served in various aviation arms. The agency has always made sure to provide safe, efficient, secure, and air traffic management system. NAMA has 3 power points called the CNS, namely communication, navigation, and surveillance, and its functions respectively are as follows: to provide information and guidelines for offline objects, air routes, departure, landing support, and security for offline objects.
I'm presently the MD, Chief Executive of NAMA, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. By training, professional training, I'm a professional engineer, a flight engineer, and former airline captain. I've had the opportunity to have been in the industry definitely for over 40 years. Every agency has its mandate. The mandate of NAMA is to provide safe, efficient, secure air traffic management systems for our customers. Our customers can be airlines, can be people who have airports. I think in a very short form, you can break it down into 3 letters, CNS. The C standing for communications, the N standing for navigation, and the S standing for surveillance. We provide these services to our customers, knowing fully well that as we crisscross the skies, there is need to talk. We provide communications to flying objects of whatever is flying. In the need for guidance, in the need for information. We provide navigation, because to go from point A to B, we have to create, if you excuse my language, air roads. To establish air roads, you need navigation systems. So we provide navigation systems, and for your departure, you need something to depart from. For your arrival, you need something to know how to terminate in. So we provide both en route navigation, departure navigation, and as well as landing or landing aid navigation. In a crowded sky, there is need to know who is there, both from the point of security and as well as separation of traffic. And the only way for you to be able to know who is there is to have capability in surveillance. So we provide surveillance, providing guidance to airplanes that fly or any flying object, as well as providing guidance in terms of how they fly, how they relate, knowing the position, both laterally and vertically. So to say that the credit goes to me alone is not fair. There were certain things on ground that I continued. There were some new initiatives. But by and large, we are building, it's like adding building blocks. So wherever we saw things were could be done better, we tried to improve on it. Whenever we saw things that we needed to initiate, yes, we did initiate them. So to that extent, what we have done is this. Like I said, our mandate is quite clear. So if you use the template CNS, you can say, okay, what have we done in terms of communications? Our communications has been like an Achilles heel. So we've continued to improve on our ability to provide better communications. It's not that there is absent, it's better communications, better clarity of radios. So we've optimized the total VHF coverage of Nigeria. We provided standalones, radios in key places, actually in 18 airports. What that does is, at the approach and departure ends of traffic, there is clarity of communications. So to that extent, we've done that, and we have also done the installation of high power VHF radios in Kano and Lagos. In the past, we did not have what is called sectorization. Sectorization of Lagos ACC and Kano ACC will help tremendously. And it's like a work in progress as we speak to finish direct sectorization. The sectorization will make it easier to communicate, easier workload on the air traffic controllers, which will translate to easier workload for the pilots. So we provided the building block for that. The radios are there. We use them, but like I said, the sectorization is not completed. Then you look at it that, okay, navigation. We've installed a number of VORs, very high frequency omni range. We've gone from CVRs to DVRs, which are much more modern, and they provide better guidance in the number of airports. But also, I think in terminating a flight is key. Many years past, actually, we didn't have instrument landing systems. But today we have more instrument landing systems in Nigeria. And what we have done in the last couple of years is also to replace some of the older ones, install where we didn't have. So we did, as the very first, the baptism of fire for me was how do we get Kaduna installed to be able to take on the issues of Abuja's closure. In terms of time, it was a lot of pressure, but we did it. Our engineers here, working with our contractors, we did it, we delivered it right on schedule, passed calibration, did everything very well. And then we went on to do Lagos. Lagos required a replacement, so we did Lagos. We did Kano. Port Harcourt was damaged by an accident. We replaced Port Harcourt, because if we didn't replace Port Harcourt, for example, with the low clouds and particularly in the mist in the mornings, it would have been tricky. So we moved in quickly. We replaced the damaged equipment, and in response to what I will call customer demands, we started addressing places where we didn't have ILS in the past, like Benin. Come Christmas, come the Hamilton haze season, Benin has always suffered, so to say, from departures due to weather issues. So, working with the governor, or the state government, we went and installed an ILS there. It has been calibrated. And we are going to other places.
Skyway Aviation Handling Company Limited, known as SAHCOL, is a member of the CFAS Group. SAHCOL is Nigeria's leading aviation ground handling firm, established to offer results to the challenges of all aviation ground handling services for goods and luggages. The firm, with its management, has kicked off the advancement of business prototype geared towards piloting efficient service delivery. A lot of investment has also been put in place in the area of personnel development, state-of-the-art warehouse, and massive infrastructural development, all to ensure efficient and speedy service delivery. Mr. Basil Abuarumi is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer. SAHCOL is an expert in passengers handling, ground handling, cargo handling, aviation security, baggage reconciliation, and premium lounge.
We provide ground handling support for airlines. What that entails, it means that when you see airlines flying, we take care of the ground support of airlines. It means that we guarantee success for the airline on ground. This means anything that the airlines will require while it's on ground before takeoff is the duty that we provide. As an organization, we are an ESEGO licensed company, and by this, it means that we provide ground handling services in line with international best practices. So what we are here to do is to guarantee our clients or prospective clients that whatever is possible in the light of ground handling in any part of the world, that we are here not just to match what's happened in other parts of the world, but we are here to give ground handling services as is expected to be done, even above the expectation of clients. SAHCOL, our projection as of today is to take SAHCOL to the stock market. If you know the history of SAHCOL, SAHCOL was actually an organization under the federal government of Nigeria, usually being a subsidiary of the national carrier. From there, after the liquidation of the national carrier Nigeria Ways, SAHCOL was carved out, and from that time was reporting directly to the Ministry of Aviation, which was under the government. But because, like we know today, we've always said that government has no business in business, so governments find the wisdom to totally take their hands off this place, and that was how SAHCOL was put out for privatization. In 2009, to be precise, 23rd of December, SAHCOL was fully privatized and handed over to the CFA's group of companies. And within that time and now, we've seen a lot of growth in the company, and that has to do with a company then that could not boast of modern ground handling equipment. Today, SAHCOL has some of the best handling equipment in Nigeria. We trained manpower. We've got certifications. For example, I just spoke about the AIRSPACE. We've also been able to do what they call the RA3 certification, which enable shipments to either go out of our warehouse to European countries. We've also built today one of the best warehouse, or not just one of the best warehouse in West Africa, one of the best in Africa. I'm talking about our custom boarded warehouse, and our processes and procedures are guaranteed to be some of the best today in the world. And how do we confirm that? This has to do with some of the successes we have recorded in terms of airlines joining our services, in terms of airlines in Nigeria today believing that the best place to do service has become SAHCOL. And to confirm that, we have had airlines leaving our competitor and pushing their services to us in SAHCOL. And these are the things that we are building upon. We, as I talk to you, having new equipment in the system, because we know it's a continuous thing, is something that we are guaranteeing our clients. We're also guaranteeing them continuous, not just services, but excellent services. We are guaranteeing them good customer service. We are guaranteeing them security and safety when it comes to ground handling services. One of our motto as a company is to give safe, secure, and excellent ground handling services. And that is exactly what we are pursuing. We are focused on it, and we are determined to ensure that this is done.
This is Business and Economy Network.
Well, viewers, this is where time will permit us on your unique program, Business and Economy Network. You heard what the Managing Director of FAN has said concerning airport. And you've heard also what the Managing Director of NAMA and also the Managing Director of Skyway Aviation Handling Company. We are looking at the aviation industry in this couple of weeks. And the issue of safety is very, very important to us. And bearing in mind that aviation can serve as a catalyst for economic growth in Nigeria. The program will make a return same time next week, God's willing. Stay blessed and be security conscious.